Tiny and the Storm out, who both excel at killing him, and that's the priority they placed here.
Yeah. Storm is also a much better pick on the last pick of the first phase than he is on the 1-2, right?
Yeah.
It means you get to go into bans and solve some of the problems you might have. In recent times, I think Storm's bad matchups mid are very limited as well. There's not like that many heroes you could pick if you're OG, and specifically one of Storm's worst matchups in lane, Lina, is something that I don't think we see Topson play that much. When Lina was very popular, Topson was one of the few mid players that never touched it, actually. It just didn't fit his style. He has played it since sometimes, but I don't think it's one of his favorites. So that could be part of it. Another thing is, you might open up the Monkey King for Secret specifically because when I think about all of the top teams in the world, I think Secret is probably the team that, in my opinion, is least successful with IO. Like, they've tried it many different times in different variations over the years. They've had Puppey play it, Yapster play it, and it's like, there are games where it looks really good, but there's just as many where it's like, like, what if? There's all these what if feelings. So I think OG, being super experienced both with and against the hero, are fine with just leaving it in the pool. You know what, Secret, you guys want it, we have a plan for you. If not, we're going to take it every time. To kind of put the onus on Secret to find a solution of how this hero is going to play into the game in general.
And now, you talked about combos earlier for OG, but the combo is going to come out for Team Secret, a tried and true combo. Usually it's SCA teams that love this combo the most, but it's the Earthshaker Morphling. For those of you at home that don't know, Morphling will get an Ags, he'll turn into Shaker, he'll crit you for 1,000 damage, and you go, where's my HP, where's my support? You can't stop him, he moves around the map, it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah. Can you tell me, do you think this is the game for an Earthshaker combo, or Morph Shaker combo?
So I want to talk about this combo in particular because it was a nightmare a few months ago, not like a year ago or something, right? In pods where it just felt incredibly strong, it felt uncounterable to a degree, and it fell out of favor because of nerfs to Earthshaker, right? And nerfs to Morphling as well, but specifically Earthshaker's airtime in his Ags. But recently they reverted that change. So now when Earthshaker buys an Ags, his airtime is much lower, which was a direct buff to this combo, but also he cleaves when he lands on the totem, so...
that also works on the Morphling ranged attack, which I didn't know until I saw. That's like kind of.
You don't have to do any swap at all. Like, you can just do it as ranged.
Your ranged attack has cleave.
That's absurd.
So when people realized, hey, this is good again, I expected it to be probably the two most picked heroes together at this tournament.
If you haven't seen what everyone was talking about before, as you know, Shaker was quite fast at jumping through the air. Then they reverted it, and it felt like you were watching Space Jam in slow motion, right? And now we're back to actually watching the real NBA, and that's where Morphling is scariest. So we have last picks here. What could we be expecting for both teams? You talked about the Monkey King flex. Where are you expecting him now?
I'm mainly just want to quickly look at OG again, just because. So they've played IO Tusk, right, as a dual lane where it's been Seb playing the IO and Saksa on the Tusk position 4. If they do want to do that, this Mars is indeed 5, most likely, right? Then the mid would be Invoker for Topson, which is probably a lock at this point.
Yes.
If you want to do it quote-unquote standard, you could play Mars Tusk lane and then put IO plus carry safe lane, but it sounds kind of weak against Morph, so I think Secret or OG are more likely to run that IO Tusk lane. As far as Secret goes, they want a last pick that is probably just their mid hero. They could put Monkey King mid against Invoker. It's not a bad matchup, and grab an offlaner here for Zai. That's probably what they're going to do.
You don't think it's bad, despite the fact that Tornado can dispel the Jingle Mastery?
So I want to say, historically speaking, that Monkey King performs very well against Quaswex Invoker mid. He runs at you and hits you, and if you have to space yourself as Invoker all the time, he denies the creeps.
Right.
And Invoker is very limited in terms of utility in the lane. Like you said, he has this one Tornado, but aside from that, he can't really fight back. His base damage isn't great, his armor isn't that great. Monkey King, if he ever gets the procs in, he's going to go for it. All right, it is probably going to be an offlane Monkey, though, as it looks.
Interesting.
Mid-Ember.
It could also be an offlane Shaker, which I've seen a lot in this tournament.
Could.
And just to add on to that point about Monkey King versus Invoker, Monkey King is actually quite nice because when Quaswex Invoker attempts to rotate around the map, Monkey King can match his pace very easily. He's not one of those mid heroes who needs to sit there and farm forever. He can do that, but he can also join these side lane fights very early on. The concern for that is just he's playing versus Mars and Arena, cuts down his trees, and it's a counter in that regard, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be too concerned about it.
With the draft finalized, I'd like to ask you first. first, Effie. Pick whichever team and tell me the weaknesses and the strengths of that draft.
Well, we still didn't talk about the last two picks, so I'm trying to think about them in like larger context. But this Ember pick is quite good, right? Because what did they lack versus this IO? The backline jump, and they are going to have that in Shaker and Morphling later on in the game. But they do need that hero who can go in first. And because of having this Ember, it actually enables Ancient Apparition, because Ancient Apparition is a hero that likes to shoot his ults out whenever he has them. So in order for that to happen, they can't just sit back and wait for a Shaker blink timing, right? So Ember really makes up for Shaker's weaknesses in that sense. Oh, and it is a position for Monkey King, actually.
Closing thoughts
I'm
on
looking at 5 Mars.
closing thoughts on what you love about OG, please.
I love OG's pace here. They can play super fast. Crosswix Invoker, Ursa Wisp. There's so much tempo. Tusk. Secret's lineup needs a little bit more time to build up, so I think OG are going to play super hyper aggressive in this game, play very explosive Dota. If Secret can weather the storm and get later, I think their strategy is most likely going to win this game. So a very clear contrast between the two styles here, with aggression versus more tempered gameplay.
And you asked about weaknesses in particular. I would just say that OG does have to play very well around these first couple of Aegises.
So you heard my panelist conclusions, but there's one man that I can't have on panel because it's just a bit too valuable. His name is BSJ, and he'll be giving you the last word for today.
Seb is going to have it, and he's going to have these crazy levels that increases the healing as well, because that's what Tether does when you get levels. So,
and you do sort of agree with Cinder in the sentiment, really. He says very much, you're looking at this game, this draft, and we know, of course, how OG likes to play.
Yeah.
OG this game, they are going to want to, and they kind of need to play fast, because down the line, with this more Shakers, you just don't want to sort of get yourself into territory where you're having to deal with the fact that one of your heroes might get one shot.
Absolutely, and they're just going to get this crazy scaling. The team fight also, if you just look from Secret, it's a bit stronger as the game does progress. Once you start getting these levels on that Shaker, the AA, even the support Monkey King, just starts to make everything a bit of a disaster for OG. But if they get a good tempo set, they have a good gold lead, then they're going to be able to still chain these kills. But we'll see if they can do that. But they do have the lineup to be able to, and tag team, Overcharge, Ursa, Alacrity, Roche is going to die quite a lot of times in this game.
Absolutely, and we're definitely going to see OG get a lot of usage, as you say, out of those sort of early brawling abilities that are really going to amp them up and make it rather hard for Secret to go toe-to-toe with them in the sort of the earlier half of the game. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a brief pause. I believe that the teams are just getting themselves ready and all sorted so we can get tucked in for a whole complete game of Dota 2, which, as I say, we're going to have action from the minute one, really.
Yes,
with this,
exactly. I'm wondering if, let's see, we'll probably see level 1 smoke from
Absolutely.
OG. They've got tag team, they've got IO, they've got the stronger level 1, even though sometimes it's a bit awkward because you have something like an IO and you're running to like Shaker. There's a Monkey King and an AI on the other side, there's a Morphling on the other side, so OG is going to look to hit hard right from the start of this game. And let's see if they do some, maybe, I wouldn't say tri-lane or anything like that, but maybe just for the start, get a quick early kill on the Morphling, then swap the lane up. Could definitely see a possibility from the IO, the Tusk, and the Mars, since Tusk just works so good when you have so many more heroes for tag team.
Yeah. And sort of looking at the mid lane, Nisha versus Topson here on the Ember versus Invoker. How do you expect that one to go, right? Topson's not going to be too upset with the matchup, right? He's going to...
He should be okay.
Invoker, you can play around with the Ember quite a bit.
Yeah, you've got a little bit of, good base damage. Sure, your Flame Guard's going to get dispelled in some situations, but you should be able to get these last hits. You're going to be able to pull creeps back, and, water runes are a thing. So all these heroes that can still go for the bottle, like Ember Spirit when you're playing versus Invoker, you're going to have that good sustain that just comes from it naturally. Well, he doesn't. So I know Brian was heavily talking about Saksa in this upcoming game, and I think we'll probably see him a lot of times looking to make those moves around those water runes early on, even the 6-minute rune.
I mean, and the same to be said for Yaps on the Monkey King. Or is he going to be more needed in the lane, really? Is he going to have as much freedom as Saxa is to sort of roam around and look towards that mid to help sort of push the matchup in their favor?
I think it's more going to be Saksa checking, but yeah, he'll check. He'll check as well on Yapzor. I think he'd like to stay with the Shaker, just as his melee versus Ursa. You don't want to leave him completely alone, right? So.
No.
Even though Shaker has done really well versus most of these melee matchups, Ursa can take advantage of it. Just one little pin from the Mars, even though it's a 5 position, and you should have the chase if there's no Monkey King there. So here we go.
Well, indeed, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The G has been called in chat. We are getting this match underway. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 of Secret versus OG here in the upper bracket. And indeed, of course, smokes up straight away from both teams.
Oh, yeah.
As a lot of potential for quite an early first blood this game.
Let's see if anybody scouts, if anybody breaks it. Of course, we have YapzOr as this courier dressed up, so maybe he'll be able to scout something for his team to allow them to dodge that quick aggression that's going to come. And let's see.
OG coming for the long way round here. They could get the good approach onto the high ground.
Immediately skills Cold Snap. That's the other thing too. Just always want to point out, some invokers we have seen at this tournament are skilling the Wex level 1 to get the EMP for the lane. That tells me even more they want to find the battle. And we're ready. I mean, the taunts, of course, come out from Seb, claiming that high ground. Yeah. And Secret doesn't want to fight. They know that it's too strong.
Absolutely not. No, you don't want to run into OG level 1.
No.
Especially when they've got the heroes they do this game.
See YapzOr also continuing. He's the courier form. He brings his courier out so that he's going to be able to turn back into courier form as well later on, so he can keep using that. That's why you see it pulled out of the base so early. Something we're seeing a lot more players do.
And overall as well, you know, this game, what's sort of your feeling from the drafts? Like, do you prefer the approach of one of the teams this game?
I've been a bigger fan of speed lately. Yeah. It's just going to have to be speed and few mistakes, though, because I've seen very similar drafts like this also from, you know, we got to cast that LGD Elephant game where they had that enormous gold lead the entire game, and then one little slip up, the Morphling, and the combo just ends up taking it. That one was a Morph and a Willow, which also is incredibly powerful, but Morph and Shaker has similarities. So for me, it's pretty easy, even. It all depends on how the pace of the game starts going. Because if OG gets ahead, they can dictate pace and play around their low cooldowns. If Secret gets ahead early, then I think it might be a little tough for OG to bring it back. Level 1 Puppey gets gone on from tag team, instant TP, back to the lane.
That sort of eyes, as I say. Both side lanes. I mean, which side lane is the most volatile, do you think? Who's got to be the most careful on this first couple of levels?
I feel like top has crazy potential of kills just because it's the double melee. Yeah, so it just makes 1 or 2 wrong steps. Same thing for No Tail. There's Jingu skilled right away on the Monkey King too, so that's probably the most volatile for me. Bottom, the Io and Tusk have great kill potential on the AA. However, on the Morphling, I think Matu should be able to hold his own, because once he gets his like level 2, level 3, he's going to have a disengage, and he's also just going to have that incredible attribute shift.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, this top lane, yeah, the fact that this Monkey King Shaker against the 2 melees, I guess same could be said for the Mars and the Ursa. A lot of, you know, potential to battle back, but for sure you're going to see both teams taking early swipes at each other.
Stick is going to be really valuable up there for Zai. He started with it. He's playing versus the Rebuke. Even we expect that Earthshock to come out from the Ursa early on too. So they're going to have a lot of mana to work with. And yeah, I'd say Secret, I give them a slight edge in the laning phase with their heroes the way it's set up at the moment.
So far top.
Ooh,
yeah, have to be
double
careful there, Good Fisher. Just going to put a stop to any aggressive chase there from the 2 of OG. Mid lane Nisha having to play a little careful. He's got some regen out on the way, but rather low at the moment in that matchup so far. 8 for 2, 7 for 1. Pretty even here in the mid.
Thompson's gone just straight for damage. Doesn't finish up the null, just finished up a Robo the Magi. I feel like he might go something like a drum. We've been seeing it from him quite a lot this tournament, and when he has the IO, and it's all about pace, I think that's something he might be thinking about.
Oh, there we have it, actually, bottom lane. Seb, he's the one to get first blood. Is he actually going to get Saxa out as well? He is. The heals are enough. Saxa doesn't even go down, as we see action on both side lanes, pretty much kicking off at the same time, but of course OG, they were the ones to get the kill first.
Bit of a slip up there. I think Matu missed the waveform onto Saxa to get that trade kill. And as we said, Puppey, he's the one who's going to have to eat the brunt of the force most of the time from this tag team. He is securing the farm for Matu, but he's going to die most likely a lot of the times he does go down there.
Matu definitely having to be careful, but so far the first wave, even though losing the support by his side, free farm for the Morph down here, 14 for 5.
And Sumail struggling, since he's got that double melee versus the Monkey King who's holding skill point too. YapzOr may be deciding if he has another opportunity to...
Just get pushed back by the spear there, won't latch though, the Fisher out. Sumail and No Tail, they want to try and get YapzOr. Sumail looking close in with the barrel that strikes up, YapzOr turns into the tree, they take down get him in return? He can't. Sumail's got the boots, the movement speed, he'll make it away. So trade up there on the top lane, but of course Sumail may survive, but he's left in pretty bad shape there after that bruise up, and still struggling to come to the lane for CS, struggling the most out of all the cores here in the early game, Sumail.
And Zai's always got mana to work with. That's what we're mentioning. These stick charges, he's always got a Fissure, he's always got enchant totems. It's a tough one for Sumail.
And YapzOr may have died, but of course able to head over towards the mid. Get Nisha topped up and well.
That's where those deaths are kind of valuable. When you have bottle mids, you can always fill them up. Unlike for the Invoker, they can't fill up Thompson's. Because he doesn't have one, obviously.
I mean, what? Ooh.
Okay.
We have to control the water in here. What can they do about this top lane, OG? Can they make any sort of alterations to get this better for Sumail, or do they just have to tank this really rough start for the Ursa?
I think they have to tank it as bottom. Puppey getting gone on.
Let's see if they can take it this time down. The damage from the tag team. It's enough here, Seb. Last hit comes in from the Io. Seb certainly off to a hot start indeed. I mean, maybe it will Taxa. No, Matu's got to be cautious.
He's very low.
Seb just sort of beating back into him, stopping Matu from being able to get in and get the trade kill. Sinisha attempt to get aggressive mid with the chains.
Thompson, he's got some creeps on him too. Said low on, he doesn't have enough mana.
Fairy Fire, I'll keep him topped up. Thompson's still alive for now. Nisha, can he still get in this? He'll have another slight chains in about 8 seconds. Thompson's still hanging around. In fact, he's got a stock, but he has enough to get into the Ghost Walk. Thompson will stay alive.
Whew, really pushing the limit there, though.
Yeah, he
reveals himself.
Oh, Nisha's going to want to dive back in. He's got the slight chains. Thompson, now with the Flame Guard up, Nisha's going to have the damage. Thompson there making a bit of a mistake, getting greedy, trying to reveal himself to keep hitting the creeps, but he had no regen and no chance against Nisha with the second round of spells and the abilities of the Ember.
And Nisha's able, after that kill, walks into the enemy high ground on the triangle and also gets himself a bounty. So that's very fortunate for him, and yeah, big mistake there from Thompson.
I mean, it's, yeah, so far, just a 1k lead, but you saw it there in the CS. All 3 of Secret's cores across the board getting solid farm in the lanes, whereas OG, they're having a bit of a slower time in the mid and that top lane.
And Secret's the one who, as we were mentioning, later game scaling is really good. You see this Morphling having a way better start than the Ursa. It's definitely some concern. So I think Saksa, he's going to have to be the one that we look at to kind of fix these lanes up for the team. Seb's done pretty damn good, but he's going to have to especially help out Sumail up top.
Absolutely. We're going to see big moves from Saksa.
Yeah. It's only level 3 too. It's not like he has this insane type of level advantage where you see some of these 4 positions have. YapzOr is actually level 4 before Saksa hits it, so a little bit harder to make all those aggressive moves when you don't have all 3 of your early abilities, like the Snowball, especially versus something like Earthshaker and Monkey King. Snowball, very useful.
That's Thompson.
Nice to know.
To get in and take that away from Nisha. Looking for the bottle refill.
Yeah, just not slowing down Matumba, man. A definite concern.
Sumail starting to get a bit more space. The pressure's definitely begun to lessen a little bit top with YapzOr making those movements over towards the mid. So a bit of breathing room for the Ursa here.
Only for a second or so, because Zai is going to hit 6 really soon. Looking to make the move, Matu.
Now going to try and go on Matu. Not quite enough damage there to stop him from shifting. Still have the chase now with the tag team. It's not enough. He's got the strength built up. Matu will be able to walk away.
Zai likely to be 6 after this lane, and that's where Sumail's going to have a lot of difficulty as he's still not level 6 on the Ursa.
Oh, absolutely.
His double melees up there.
The walk in for a potential slam could be deadly.
Does have his treads picked up, so he's a little bit tankier once he's got them on strength.
No tail.
No tail.
Just struggling to sort of trade with YapzOr. Spears off the mark. TP's coming in here for OG. Thompson, he's in with the backup. He's come to try and rectify this top lane for OG. Catch onto YapzOr. He'll set up for a kill between the 3 of them, and this very much needed. OG, they've got to try and get this top lane in a better condition.
And he's got the urn picked up at a perfect time, so he can make that move, and immediately he does queue up the drum. As expected, we've seen him do it a couple of times now, especially when they have the IO lineup, and as we said, OG, the slow start is here, but the pace of the game is going to get picked up incredibly fast.
Yes, you sort of blink and you miss it sometimes with the speed that OG sort of goes from 0 to 100. So it could absolutely still happen here in this early game. Still early days. 7 minutes in, 3 to 4. Less than 1k lead at the moment for Secret. There's still absolutely potential for OG to just explode in these early moments.
YapzOr making the move down bottom. They see him with the wards, but he's here already.
Now they're going to go Primal Spring jumping onto the 2 of them. Nice snowball onto the side. Saksa able to separate them a little bit, but now See if they get into Matuma Man, turn into the touch there to use the snowball against OG, closes in on Seb, gets the kill, and YapzOr might not even be done. He's got another spring in a few seconds. Does he want to go up into the triangle? He does. He's keeping his eyes on Saxa. Not quite land with the slow though, and Saxa will manage to make it back to the safety of his tower with that. But still, as to Seb, the off-lane IO taken out of the lane here.
More space for Matu to heal back up to full from the Morbid Mask. Zai playing careful top, level 7 already. Very close to his Blink Dagger already, 800 off with the treads. Sumail just had to leave the lane. I don't think he wants to be up there anyway, and they need to start getting better levels on the 2 supports for the side of OG. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to do that run-edge strategy that they want to do in the next few moments.
And Yap's already been quite the nuisance for OG here, just sort of jumping around with the vision he's giving. And OG, at least with the two of them, Saxa and Seb, struggling to really get their hands on this Monkey King in the trees, bouncing around.
Seb already has Holy Locket done, so that's what we were talking about, where you get these items so much faster as this off lane. Gotta be able to make some nice aggressive moves, but they're on him.
He's gonna try and go, but a quick tether over to Saxa will break the distance.
He's too fast.
Doesn't even want to commit further there. YapzOr knows, even with the Boundless Strike, they just don't quite have the damage, even with the 3 of them to blow up Seb whilst he has Saxa by his side.
Not quite yet. Puppey still only level 5.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to actually move the Morphling out of the lane and then send the AA bottom to get that 6 early on to deter OG from going that run at you, since once they have AA6 also, you know, Holy Locket is online for IO, but that's going to be counteracted quite heavily when Puppey does get 6.
Absolutely, yeah. If he can land these blasts, it will be a complete thorn in the side here for the way that OG want to fight in that mid game.
And they have setup, right? They have Shaker Fissure, they have Chains, they have Monkey King Boundless Strike, a lot of different ways for them to set up that blast. That's 10 minutes.
Looking over towards Nisha, but in fact, Nisha is going to be able to set up anything on them. No, doesn't want to try. Topson, just get the initial grab here. Nice EMP. Oh, he was waiting for it. Sumail, he was ready. Sumail, if he gets this, it's going to be a lovely kill here for the pair. Sumail set up in perfect position. You know, he's had a bit of a sad time in the jungle, but he's able to head over to the mid lane, get a kill on Nisha. Top lane as well, OG, they turn over towards Zai. Have a little bit of a wait there to really amp up that final blow there that NoTail delivers to Zai.
Zai used Echo up there too, and they were able to sustain up from the IOTP. Then now it's going to be on cooldown for a very long time, which is going to be a signal to OG.
Yeah, I mean, this is
to run.
Look at Sumail now. We saw how rough of a start he had. He's second highest in the net worth there, getting that pick up from that huge kill on Nisha in the mid.
And they're pressuring bottom now with the 5 position Mars with the IO. Matu's had to leave the lane.
You can feel it, that the pressure, it's building up from OG. It really is. Topson getting deep in the jungle, looking for Puppey. Has his mana gone? Has he got enough damage on his own? And, it's the Erman ticking out. Backup comes in. He gets the kill, Topson, but it looks like he's probably going to die for this, as he's trying to escape them, but there is no running from Zai, Nisha, and YapzOr. So he gets in, he gets a kill, but maybe a little too deep that time from Topson.
He did force 4 heroes there, though.
I guess that's space.
Space for IO to get the finished farm bottom, Tusk to get the levels top, Ursa to get more farm too. So at the end of the day, it's a Topson move. That's what he likes to do. Sacrifice himself for the greater good. Zai does have a Blink Dagger finished up, though, off of that kill. So there is going to be some responses that come out from Secret after they get those kills. Also, a Maelstrom finished up on the Ember, so Secret does have a bit of a timing where they can fight back. That's the one thing, is we were talking about how OG is looking to set tempo constantly with this fast-paced draft, but it's not like Secret isn't going to be able to fight back with their heroes.
Absolutely not. Yeah, Secret, they'll certainly be ready to have a shot back at them. Let's see if they can set up to sort of make a jump and a good reveal with that Blink Dagger on Zai's Shaker. Smoke up already. In fact, from YapzOr and Nisha, they're leading the way up top. It's just Saxa up here at the moment, soaking up some XP around the tower. Matu starting to take the tower. They'll dive in straight away. Set up there with the chains, in with the Remnant. TP's coming in. It's actually going to continue. Topson, he does want to try and look for the counterplay. Rugos command is down. Jump off the side. Nisha is able to break away with that last bit of mana. Ice Blast comes crashing straight over to Seb. Headshot there from Puppey. As he lands it on the IO, no healing for Seb. Seb's out. Topson trying to run, but the sentries, there are plenty here from Secret as they lay them both down. Topson, he's got the move speed, though, to get out of the range. So Topson will sneak away. But a big hit there from Secret up on the top lane, and that's the move you said. They knew that OG, despite losing Saxa at the start, OG's the kind of team that will turn up and try and fight around that tier 1. Secret, they were prepared completely for that.
And look at the pace. They're smoking again instantly, though. The smoke's going to break.
It is. They know they're in the pit. Puppey's going to know exactly what's going on. Surely. Smoke dispels. He checks it out. This is risky from Sumail and Saxon. They're going to run to the inside. He's in. Catches the two and then jump over the road and Boundless strike follow. They're both dead.
And it's half HP. They might consider even going for it themselves if they get some more follow-up kills.
He's ready to chase up to the high ground. Thompson and Seb will be able to hold them back. Quick slide from Nisha keeps them low, but Seb will heal the two of them up. But as you say, Roshan is in a bit of a juicy position here for Secret. It's still not too easy for them to really go for it, though.
Yeah. Big hit though. Nisha with some really nice individual plays there, dodging out the EMP, dodging out the Mars ult and everything around that tower, setting them up now for a 2K lead and still looking to respond.
Trying to set things up there, Notel. Quick poke stops Matty from being able to lead in.
That hurts OG quite a lot.
I mean, it was a risky play there, trying for that Roche. A very, very risky move. Does not pay off. Secret shut it down.
And they weren't even looking for the Roche. They were just smoking to move across the map and they're like, oh, wait a minute. Look at that. So very fortunate for the side of Team Secret, having a haste now on the Ember Spirit Zaya, as we mentioned. Echo Slam still on cooldown, but they've responded in great force versus the aggression of OG. Even though the relocating the numbers are attempted to be there from OG, Secret was ready. And as you mentioned, the snipe, of course. Puppey getting that big AA blast on the IO. That's going to be the crucial
He's
thing
going to do every time, yeah.
This IO, if you look at 20 Holy Locket plus mech, he's going to be able to like full heal anybody they do go on, unless that AA blast does come over.
Absolutely, all about Puppey getting that hit in. I'll see OG. I think they pretty much have the defusal done on Sumail, so yeah, it's just a few hundred gold off it. Any sort of other items at this stage that each team is waiting upon to have their sort of next power spike?
I don't think so at all. I think that
just go when they want.
Secret is extremely happy with this pace of the game right now. Morphling, like Matu's just getting to free farm while they're also still defending towers. I think OG just needs to keep looking to make these plays. I think if they sit back and look to wait for something, the game's going to quickly fall out of their favor.
I mean, well, yeah, as you say, you're seeing more for the top net worth here, yes. And if that's happening, Secret's happy.
Yeah, they've got defusal now. They got a medallion also on the Invoker. This is another go time. Smoke up, look for a play immediately with this.
There we go, in immediately from OG. Seb. Sumail and Notel. Seb, of course, ready to take Sumail in with a relocate if Notel finds a solid setup for the arena.
They have to start finding these big kills. Slow down the Morphling, slow down the Ember Spirit. Still difficult, though.
Go for the D ward here, so Secret will be aware that they're coming in from the side. Secret grouping up here in preparation for some sort of jump from OG.
And they've got the big ultis. That's the one thing that's Secret, especially if they've got the high ground advantage. They have those humongous team fight ultimates in comparison. OG a lot more limited because it's a 5-position Mars who has to walk his way in to try to place his arena.
I mean, some nice little moves there from Saxon, moving himself and all illusions independently there. So Secret did have to guess a bit what was happening. Sumail's trying for the Roche again. He's in the pit. He's getting bashed. He will be able to jump out there away from the Fisher, but I mean, they really want to try and get this for Sumail, but again, it's just such a risk when Secret's all up at the moment. As you say, Secret, they're more than happy to jump in for the fight. I don't know if you're ever going to be able to get Roshan like this if you're OG.
But they have to. That's the lineup. They need to get that Roshan advantage for the Ursa. That's why you see both teams just heavily emphasizing in the area. But
yeah, Secret's not going to let him.
Secret's got this Ice Vortex, 40 mana. I mean, Puppey can pretty much infinitely throw it in there to get the scout if he's in the area.
It's very hard for OG to find. They need to get some sort of action first.
Showing the IO top, Seb. So have to be a bit careful of his positioning. He's split away from the Ursa too, so that means the relocate play is not going to be available for OG to get the numbers. So Secret, they're looking to catch him. When he's split away.
If they can get the setup a little too deep here, TP immediately comes in from Saxa. Rest of OG starting to head up as well. So Secret, they won't dive any further. Yeah, as long as Secret can sort of keep the pressure on, keep OG distracted and away from Matu, they're only going to be able to increase that lead that Matu has. Already about 1k ahead of the farmer Sumail. Matu much more happier to just spend time hitting the creeps. He is going to step at OG. They're right on the shadow here. But Matu knows. He's keeping it cautious, keeping it cool, and making sure that OG can't get the jump on it.
He's gonna have his Manta done any second now, and then he's gonna go straight for that Aghanims afterwards, as we expect with that Earthshaker combo. And as we've seen to expect and come to expect from Topson when he's playing this Invoker, he sometimes does go for this more buff-up strategy, just the Alacrity plus that Solar Crest to make his Ursa, or whichever edge carry that much stronger.
Absolutely, just give Sumail the best game he can possibly give him.
Yeah. N0tail sneaking in, but he's under vision.
I'm going to start things on him. He'll put the arena, but a quick jump from Nisha, dodges the spear. Backup's coming in from the side. Thompson buffed up by Seb as they look to lead in. Saxa, he's caught Zai as well at the top left to stop Zai from being able to get the jump in. He has to get Zai's out of mana. Seb caught by the chains, hit by the blast as Seb goes down.
Nisha, time and time again this game, dodging the spears, dodging the Marzolds, dodging the EMPs, just being a rightful nuisance for OG.
A good read from Saxa, though. That fight could definitely have gone a whole lot worse for OG. Saxa just making sure that he can find Zai's Shaker at every possibility.
Zai's resetting though, going back to base, healing up, and he's still got Echo Slam. They didn't have to commit anything big on the side of Secret. AA Blast still cooldown for 30 though.
I mean, OG's still trying to fight into it. You see Saxa and Thompson coming behind him. He's going to jump start the fight straight away. They both go snowball over from Saxa. Get the time for Thompson to reset. Matthew, wait for his inside. Trapped in the shots. He'll get taken down. We're going to comes down Nisha with the newly picked up BKB. He's running to brawl. Runs down Saxa. Tries to launch Sumail. Sumail trying to put the erase to get out of there. OG, have they got any backup for Sumail? Sent back out with a relocate. Sumail now without the OG trouble. Matthew charges into the touch, uses the shot, but Sumail's able to shock out of there. Yamcha up into the sky, but they got him down. They got him down for the tree. Spear comes down. Ice block, Balder strikes straight over Thompson, but Thompson is still trying to down a fight. He can't survive for it all. He'll go down. N0tail over to Yamcha. Sumail. He's going to jump up, helping him to pull it. OG will come out top of this fight.
Right next to Roche as well.
This is what they were looking for. A huge fight for OG, sets up the Roshan with 3 still dead on Secret. There's no stopping OG from taking this.
And Topson ate the brunt of the force, but the AA Blast, as we mentioned, it's got it nerfed so many times in the past, was still on cooldown for a good 20 seconds when they initially jumped Topson. The heals come out, and then they're able to pretty decently turn the fight. Matu's still alive though, does get a kill on N0tail while the Roche is claimed by Sumail. But a pretty solid fight for OG, all things considered, when it's a BKB reveal on Nisha, and the Wukong's command was there layered from the whole fight.
I mean, it looked like it was going to fall apart for OG as well. You see this chase. Matu was a cool move here as the Tusk trying to control Sumail, but he couldn't. Good control as well, taking Yapso out of the trees, stopping that spring jump forward, which would have allowed them to kill Thompson off much quicker.
That spear was huge.
As OG, that was exactly the fight they needed here to begin to get that momentum, that sort of power back under their wings.
And look at this, Sumail is going to go straight for that Aghanims build on the Ursa. Just more survivability. He's going to be able to constantly be that rightful nuisance inside the fights, stick on targets. Again, the bottom.
Oh, goodbye, Thompson. Out alone his own
reload.
He might be in trouble as well.
Boy.
Did try and come in to help out. He's pretty tanky, not tanky enough to deal with Forest Secret beating him down. They got to get out of there, the rest of OG. No fights to be had. There's a bit of a slip up, and Seb getting baited into it as well.
Got it.
Can't make too many of those mistakes. Even though you've got this Aegis and all that, you know, you've got this quick pace lineup, you don't want this game to drag on. You don't want to allow this Morphling to finish up and farm that Aghanims, which he is going to get eventually in this game. He's already got one component. So they've got the blink now on N0tail, so just keep going. And that's the one thing is they have still look to keep making these plays, even if they do lose Topson every now and then. It's just what they have to do with their draft. Otherwise, as we say, they will get outscaled.
Well, let's see how much they can get done with this Aegis.
See how much they can get done.
Sumail, 3 minutes to really push the issue here for OG.
See what N0tail finds with his blink review.
Set up mid. He's trying to look for the jump. N0tail. Is it with the counter? But comes into the arena. But is there actually any backup? I don't know if there is. N0tail just ends up dying immediately after he looks to initiate. Yamcha and Zai, they are low. Saxa, he's got the catch straight over the one side. Simple from Matthew. Then Matthew's ready to turn and fight back. Another kill here for Zai. Zai will survive. Change, knocking down the 2 of them. Seb comes in with a heal. Thompson back up to full HP. He got the move. Coming down, but he immediately put the stop. Matthew focused out by Sumail. They're ready to try for more. Yamcha passing up to the side of the corner now. Nisha, he's in trouble. He's trying to remnant out of it. Will have enough mana to jump over to the side. They're looking to hunt him down. They know he's gone south. They're checking out the high ground with the sun strike. Sumail closing the gap again. Yamcha with the balance with the trees. Holds back the bear.
You also know Zai.
I mean, underneath the tower, it's a little deep here for OG. Jump forward, see Sumail. And get Zai here, he's got the heel of Seb. Sumail actually gonna live! He's actually gonna live it! Triple V, they might get the Yapzor as well, he's been caught off the tree, another! Sumail with the ultra kill! Getting it done here, OG turn it up! They look for the fight with the Aegis, they've still got that Aegis ready for another round. Sumail getting some huge kills there, nearly level 18, and now we can look to start working on that BKB.
Look at the damage he was able to do in the fight. It looked a little weird because No-Tail starts the fight and they didn't have the backup initially, but in the midst of the fight, don't know if everybody saw it on the side of the cameras, the Io Spirits clipped the Shaker. Zai actually echoed the floor when they were trying to make the big go onto Ursa. Either way though, there was still an Aegis, they were still getting all the full heal. OG getting this big ramp up going for them, and I do believe Secret needs to be a little bit more careful with their Ice Blasts. They just throw it at the Thompson every single time, but it's got a 60-second cooldown. There's likely only one going to be in every single one of these team fights. They have to prioritize it on the big heals. As we've seen Seb now just chunk up his teammates with that. And Thompson is the sacrifice.
There we go. OG. No slowing down, of course, from this squad.
Nope.
1-5 finishes, they're already thinking about how they're going to start the next jump onto Matu.
Right away.
Got the cold snap, good vision from Zai, holds back the 3-way format. The Snowball's going to be there to chase up with the high ground. Sumail, he still wants to go. He's still going in. He's diving in onto back to the swamp spill. Then Sumail takes him down. Back to the low ground. Nisha managed to get out of the back, guys. Kills off No-Tail with the BKB looking to commit. Kills off Thompson as well. Sumail, still 40 seconds on the Aegis. Yaps off in the tree line, lines up onto the 2. Saxa buying time with the Snowball.
Oh.
He's going to be going in pretty deep here, Saxa, but Sumail meanwhile finding Zai underneath the tier 2, and Saxa, he's also going to be able to walk out of it.
He's got his blink now. Oh boy, OG really starting to find their footing, and with the blink too, now there's more ways to save his teammates from combo plays. With Aghanims on Ursa, how are they going to combo Sumail down?
Yeah,
he
they
can
are
just pop the
struggling.
enrage every single time when he's getting gone on. This is going to be a bit of a problem because they don't have any forms of silence at all on their team. So Enrage, of course, could be able to be popped whenever you are stunned up because of that Ags. This is problematic for Secret.
He's
such a big Ursa.
He really is. He played it so cool in the early game. There's that pent-up rage from suffering in that sort of laning phase where he couldn't hit the CS. It's coming out now from Sumail.
At level 20 already at this point, and he's not letting Matu have a fun time in the fights. Even though Matu did have such a good time in the early game, the Ursa just staking on him. The defusal is a problem.
Yeah, Matu has to run every time. He cannot fight back against this Thompson. Not going to be able to get the catch. Nisha is prepared for this.
Didn't get to touch on this either. If we look at Yapzor, he's going for a very greedy build. We've seen a couple times the Aetoses into Gleipnirs. I think we saw a couple Orchid rushes, I think on Crit as this 4 position. He's going for the late game. He's going for the Scotty. He's going to be able to apply it to everybody. The slow, the reduced healing as well from the IO2 in the team fight. So as it progresses, as we mentioned, Secret's going to be strong, but...
Saxa's going to find him. Puppey's got a fair bit of damage as well. Saxa, going to stop the cold feet here with a snowball. Thompson, he'll be able to put a stop to the TP. No escape for Puppey.
Secret's trying to, I think, slow down a little bit here and get those items finished up, in particular the Ags on Morphling as well. It's very close to it.
As you were saying, not far off the Scotty, just about 1,000.
It's pretty close. Seb now has his own BKB, so
it's gonna be
tough to focus fire him anyway. If they can get the AA blast coverage, if they can get a stun initially on him, then it'll work. But if he gets the BKB off pre-initiations, then it's probably gonna be really hard for Secret to bring down the main focus targets that he's tethered to.
I mean, for OG, Is it sort of waiting for the next Roche? Do they need to go before, or can they afford to sort of wait, get that Aegis, and then look to make the move again?
No, I think just keep looking for fights. If they run into you, you look for the battle. You've got so many ways to protect your cores. Sumail likely won't die no matter what happens because they can't initiate on him cleaning now because of that Ags that he went for. I really like the pickup this time around that he went for it, since there is no silence that he has to worry about. Always can get your enrage off, always can allow your IO and your teammates to come back you up.
Got their eyes on No-Tail bottom.
Cool. Bit patient for him. And there's the Axe. So Matu, only level 17, so not quite that permanent uptime that we always talk about from level 18 plus that morph timing, or he will always be in Shaker form.
I love a little pickup as well for Sumail, getting the Mindbreaker. Yeah, can be a great one.
Also, I didn't point this one out, but Zai got the Fake Grenade on the Shaker at 17 minutes. So now we have a lot of potential for some massive burst damages coming up from their sides from double, triple totems and whatnot. But OG, as we said, not slowing down.
Absolutely. As soon as someone shows in a lane and they feel that they're alone, they're making moves over there. See top puppy. It's pretty out of the area though.
How do you go for Sumail? BKB Ags with a tethered IO behind him.
It's so hard.
It's going to be such a difficult target. They have to prioritize. They somehow have to find Seb, but it's been very difficult for them. And with the BKB, how does Nisha focus fire him? Because that was Nisha's job for the most part this game.
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible to kill Seb at the start unless they open up with some sort of stun lockdown.
Which they have. They've got that Ags.
Double shaking.
Yep. And he's got a Titan Sliver too, so even stronger with that base damage increase.
Let's see if they can delete first.
Oh, Puppy says hello.
He's just going to walk in on this. He's going to get hit by the Mindbreaker. He needs help, and he needs it now. Puppy will give the unsparked over, but Seb's already put the BKB on. Off to the side he goes. They lose no tail on the side of OG as Secret out to get to the back of him. So they're going to be any chase. Both teams coming out of the buyback immediately. OG, they will separate though. They back off. And just an awkward way really for Secret to start the fight. Puppy just heading up on the front lines.
I don't think he expected them to be there that soon. Just walk. I'm most surprised that he's the one that walked up so quick himself. As around the Roche pit, most important timing now for the next few minutes. About 35 seconds until that will spawn. We see OG sitting in the pit waiting.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
There goes Secret. Rather far out here though. We'll finish off the tower. Sumail. He's going to try and jump straight onto Nisha. Nisha pops the BKB. Remnant off the side. They're going to go to Seb straight away. Everything thrown down off the eye. They've taken him down. So ball over from Saxon. Sam does come out for time. Sumail's already popped the ult. Ready to go over for more. Chasing down Yapsor. He'll remove the Monkey King out of the fight. A double kill for Sumail. Now ready to go for something else to the side as he's on top of the Timberman. Wait for him out. Sumail looks to Nisha, but now he's going to be frozen in position. Sumail, he's trying to back out, but the cold feet kicks in. Sumail will fall. No tail as well. Cut down by Nisha. With the setup there, Matsu comes in for the finishing blow. Secret, this time round, the execution, it's there. They find Seb, remove the iron from the engagement, and suddenly everything becomes a lot harder for OG. Sumail, he still wants to be able to charge in, but he hasn't quite got that same level of sustain that he had before.
And it was them just clear understanding. He used BKB earlier. They knew it was still on cooldown. If they just commit onto him immediately, that IO's dead. Mars used buyback earlier. No Mars, no Ursa for 5th.
Just look at this, Seb.
Look how quick they were on him.
Everything just onto this IO, deleted from the team fight.
And then Matu can do whatever the hell he wants inside the fight because now he's got that Ag Shaker. He can just come in and start one-shotting these heroes. As now with an Aegis in a very comfortable spot, Secret, as it's only a 1k lead, but I feel like it's going to start accelerating and building up very quickly for Secret. So OG has to be very careful how they take those fights when BKB are on cooldown.
Absolutely, it's just so much stun, so much AoE in control. It's not easy, even with the Enrage alone, for Sumail to fight through.
It's just such an explosive amount of damage that's coming out. It's like anybody gets seen and they're just dead from these totems. As Matu's just hunting.
He's trying to go for Seb.
The headband midair. It's a cute little interaction. And of course we do have the IO shard. That's also something that will be coming into play. These little mini stuns that are kind of come out onto our Morphling and our Shaker that OG does still have. But yeah, with this much more comfortable position, Secret to look to make more aggressive plays, and an E-Blade now finished for Matu.
Got so much blast here. Jump up from No-Tail, but at the same time, Nisha now onto Saxon. Seb will lead in. They're looking for Yapsor. Matu's able to stand his ground for now, though. Yapsor finally falls. Matu not able to finish off Seb. Self E-Blade here as Matu looks to separate himself from the fight. OG, if they've got any further chase, Sumail.
The BKBs are
trying to head in. Sumail is going to be able to push to dodge the initiation. But now, the unspot, the slam, the holding Sumail in position. Seb trying to come over to give it the back. But now Zai turns his attention over towards Seb. He doesn't have the damage though, Zai. And Seb will be able to keep himself alive. Nisha's over to the backlines, has chased down No-Tail. Matu, he's looking for Seb. Not enough mana to keep chasing onto the Aya. But meanwhile, Nisha and Puppy, they do get Sumail as he's separated from the rest of his team.
There's too much that they have to deal with in the fight. They're trying to focus fire Matu, but then he jumps left. They're trying to focus fire Zai, and he jumps right. Then there's Anisha zipping around to the backlines, killing the supports with fire remnants. It's just so much elusiveness coming out from Secret, and OG does not have the same amount of control that comes out either. They don't have double shakers. They don't have chains and roots coming out anywhere. Much harder fights for them as we're seeing them progress.
And of course, Matu had the Aegis. He's still going to have it for another 3 minutes. Couldn't even get him the once. Definitely the concern starting to show with the sort of draft OG has now that the minutes are passing. 32 minutes in, 5k lead. OG, they've got to look for some phenomenal maneuvers to get Secret knocked back down.
They have the Hex on Thompson, so that'll at least allow them to hold one of those targets down and focus fire them. But yeah, as I was saying, it's just there's so many things moving around. There's a Monkey King jumping, Amber Remnants. There's so much different chaos that Secret's causing in the fight, and OG
Dire's top tower is under
has to try to
attack.
find a way to weather it. But not really seeing too many options as Morphling gets Aegis, he's got Axe. You've lost so much control on this side of OG. This is not the way that their draft wants to play.
Mid lane knocks out. We'll find him a bit of a freebie by the looks of it. He doesn't get the blast off for it now. Nisha jumps in with the Remnant. No tail's gonna fall. Over to the side. Zion Yapso controlling Saxon. Nisha's looking to jump over to Outbound as well. I'm ready to go back in with another Remnant. Seb will take the two of them out of there.
Oh.
Look at the Hex. Have they got the damage somehow? He's in onto it, but they haven't. They can't even finish him off the one. Still has that Aegis. Jump back over on Thompson. Trying to run with the E-Blade combo. Comes in. Thompson blown up. Jamal property Ray stays on top of the Timberman, but that's only the once. He's going to be back for round two. Nisha jumps in. Control on his Seb. He can't get away.
Good lord. This lineup is ridiculous. Once it's timing, I mean, OG is doing some great grabs of trying to get these pickoffs, but there's just too much control. They're too mobile. They're everywhere.
I mean, it's effectively sort of three fishes as well. This boundless strike also coming in from Yapso. Just so many lines of stun. It's thrown straight through the heart of the team fight.
Matu, they get the grab on him.
Have they got enough damage? No, they haven't. In fact, Matu, he's going to look to turn. He wants to get aggressive. He's going to try and get in on them. He's going to be look careful. Here's the back to be required. Sai jumps in. No tail to fall. They even look for somebody, but a quick blink gets him away from the Fisher.
Dire's middle tower
Nice attempt there from OG, but Secret still in the area. Somehow, even though they were just bottom, as we've seen them just flying all over the place on the map, always seem to have the numbers. 12k gold lead. It's quickly swung into their advantage.
And that was quite a confident line there, just straight up into their favor. 91% on the win probability right now for Secret.
There's just too much going on inside the fights. Too many things they have to focus on, while also trying to dodge AA blasts and keep the BKBs at a good timing so that they don't get clipped by it. It's not easy moving forward. And back into Shaker form. Back looking for the plays. Secret gonna continue looking for anything. Any type of battle that they can get now. And yeah, really catching their stride. Lincoln's now on Nisha too, so that Hex that we saw, likely to get countered just because of that.
It's going to be so hard to lock him down.
Yeah. And they've got, we did mention that Yapsor was going for a very greedy item build. He did finish it off in those last two fights.
Coming in for the side. Fisher out. Samel to start things off. Samel will be able to take out the wall. Jump up for Nisha over to one Thompson. They're on top of the Invoker. Thompson trying to run. Turns around with the combo. Ice Splash will miss, but Matu will not. Straight over onto the Invoker. Matu takes out Thompson. Now there's Samel. He needs help, but he needs it out. Seb covering with the tether. Relocate. Seb won't be able to take Samel out of this fight, but Lotel's going to be left behind. As OG, they'll still lose too.
I mean, this might be the most entertaining lineup I've ever seen in Dota. Everyone's just jumping back and forth, and they're still going to lose Seb out of it. 105 seconds.
That's a long time. This could be the window that Secret have been looking for to break the high ground.
Oh, they're feeling it. They're high-fiving. They're feeling that big confidence now after these last, 4 or 5 fights that they've just decimated OG in.
is under attack.
And what can OG do here? 3 dead.
They have to watch. The IO is so crucial for their lineup. Likely to just lose at least 2 sets.
Dire's bottom barracks has fallen.
It's the bottom racks cleaned up. Secret straight over to the mid.
The damage from the totems as well.
I mean, they're diving in a bit onto Samel. They're tempted. Samel getting quite the poke under the tier 4.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
I mean, he's going to jump. They're going to try and get into the Timberman. Getting on. He's got the shift. He's got the lift. Matu will stay alive. Ready to go back over the wall. Samel will bring down the Bolfling, but he himself will lose his life for it. Buybacks coming out from OG. Same from Secret. Matsu, he's had enough. He's ready to shut this one down as a second set of racks. I mean, they commit to kill them all. They do get him. I mean, he is in a position now. Matsu dies again. The game might start to get a little bit interesting again.
They still have 30 seconds without the IO, though. They might just be able to commit for the racks.
They're
It's a
gonna look
little
to
bit
try
risky,
Secret.
but
Radiant's top tower.
potential that they could. And again, it's too many things they have to deal with in the fights. Like you said there, they full commit for the Morphling, but he's not the only problem by
costs
any
them
means.
so much.
Nisha 15, 3, and 20.
Dire's top tower is under
Yeah, they're also
attack.
strong right now, Secret.
Creep starting the base, though. Does Forge Spirits in the mid lane.
And to push him out.
Radiant's top tower
So that
is under
buyback, as you
attack.
mentioned, might be a bit of a win condition here now for OG if they're able to find him. It's a very difficult one, but
But it is
got to
one.
be careful.
It is there.
Yeah, Matu's got to be more cautious with his positioning. Oh, look at that. A DD ruin. Look at this nice damage on our Morphling. He hasn't even popped the DD yet, but nice little 1,300. Actually more, 1,500.
I mean, also knowing that Roshan should be up rather soon again here, so something that is going to offset that risk of Matu using the buyback to get straight back in action.
And finding some
of
big
minutes.
neutral items as well. Timeless Relic picked up on the side of Secret.
Oh my goodness, yeah, give it to these shakers and the stuns.
Or the Ember Spirit. I mean, I'm fine with that
That's
too.
true.
He's pretty good with
That's
it.
a lot of damage.
OG.
Samael, he's found Puppy, he's trying to get in, we'll get pushed back. Sasha comes in the eye, puts the moment inside. Comes up on the side, Samael got the BKB off in time though. As he turns towards the shaker, takes him out. Matu, trying to find no time, wait for him over to the side. Seb, bringing Samael out to the side for now. We'll see the checkpoint. Matu, he's taking towards him. Slams out Samael. Samael hits the deck out for 2 minutes on the Ursa.
Look at that damage. Over 1,800 damage on our Morphling.
That's a big number.
He just smacks Sumail, and now Seb returns as well to his death.
And now 3 dead, no buybacks on OG. Secret with the 4 of them up, they can look to run down mid.
Thompson, he showed himself for a second, but we'll slip away.
He's trying to create a distraction, sort of push them away from the base, but Secret, they are definitely going to have their eyes on the Megas, and maybe even more.
Dire's top tower
To have buybacks
is under
available on
attack.
No Tail and Saxa, but 90 seconds no Samael, a minute without Seb. There's the buyback, No Tail. Can they buy any time for their 2 cores to get back up?
It's got to be so scary for Thompson.
Dire's top tower.
I mean, Saxa, he's going to get a jump in. They're able to get the spear off to them. The damage sunshine coming down. Benicia there with the Raven's Matthew. He's got too much HP. They can't burst through. Buyback comes out from Johnson, but Saxa will fall. Also, with his buyback, looking to try and hold with just the 2 of them. But Secret, the damage is being done. The top racks are gone. The Mega Creeps will be out, and the jump over to Saxa. As soon as he's back in, he's back out again. Roll over to Thompson. Thompson goes down. Everybody dead on OG as Secret
GG.
now close it up. GG is called, and Team Secret will take game 1 of this best of 3.
They went for the strong scaling lineup, but saying that does take away a little bit of how much they're still able to fight in the early game. We see OG